I think there's a bit of conversation to be had around the way the SEC was discussed right around a year ago and how the SEC is being discussed right now. So we'll unpack that together. Again, make sure you're subscribed to College Football, Nothing But College Football, for everyone watching this as a one-off clip. I want to address the punchline culture, and I also want to give a prediction as it pertains to the SEC. Because the discussion around the SEC right now is that the conference itself is overrated. Hand up, I missed on my discussion with the SEC a year ago. I thought they'd have 5 teams in the college football playoff. That clearly did not happen, all right? And I think everyone was very quick to say, well, look, y'all keep saying it just means more. You talk about all your draft picks you have, talk about how good you're supposed to be in hypothetical games, and look what happens when you actually play the games. You got Ole Miss losing to Kentucky, Alabama losing to Vandy and Oklahoma, and like some conference, huh? SEC, a bit overrated. Last year, I think you can say that's the case. I think that's probably true. And this is not me sitting here giving you this qualification of, well, look at who else they have to play throughout the course of the year. Well, look at how rigorous the grind of their schedule is. I'm not even having that discussion with you right now. Because, I mean, almost when you lose to Kentucky, you lose the defense of what your season was. You lose the, well, yeah, but look at who we played kind of discussion. It's Kentucky, man. That's not me dunking on Kentucky. It's just the reality. Same deal for Ole Miss and Oklahoma, or Alabama and Oklahoma. You don't have like this mulligan that you earn from those games. But what I would say is relative to the 2025 season, I think that the whole idea that the SEC is overrated, I don't know that the SEC is going to be just far and away the best conference in college football, but I will say this. The NFL draft still says the SEC is the most talented conference in college football. All right, and this is not me carrying water for the SEC and go to an SEC school. I don't have a family that went to an SEC school. I grew up in Southern California. Like I don't have any reason to go to bat for the SEC here, folks. Like this is just kind of what the NFL draft is saying. If the SEC is somehow, this massive ruse to have this seat at the table in the world of college football, and SEC bias is real, the NFL draft is in on it because right around half the first round is from the SEC based on this past NFL draft that happened. So getting back to this discussion, as we look to what 2025 is, I think that last year what the SEC was a lot of the schools that you would expect to be heavyweights not looking very heavyweight-ish, right? Like Texas, I mean, they were a great team last year, but they didn't play for a national championship. Got beat by Ohio State. Okay, great. Georgia, they got beat by Notre Dame in the college football playoff in their first college football playoff game. Okay, great. I told you about Alabama and what they weren't last year. So there's a lot of like familiar faces that I don't think you could say Texas underachieved. That's probably a little bit mislabeling, if you will, when it comes to that discussion. But the SEC as a whole, relative to how they were talked about in the preseason and relative to what they actually did during the college football season, as a conference, I think you could say they underachieved or overrated or however you want to label them. But I think what's being maybe missed in this discussion for 2025 is all the schools that I would say are probably surging that we wouldn't put in the top tier of the conference, but now we're talking about being a team that could make the college football playoff. I put LSU in that discussion. I put A&M in that discussion. South Carolina's in that discussion. We talk about Oklahoma and what they could be. I mean, Florida and with DJ Lagway. Like, there's so many teams here where the arrow is very clearly pointing up. I wouldn't be shocked if one of those schools jumped up, made some noise in the postseason this upcoming year. Alabama, still a top 10 roster. Texas, Georgia, top 3 roster talent in all of college football. Tennessee, who knows what they are, but they were a playoff team last year. I think that the sheer number of schools that could compete for college football playoff relevance, that's what I think is maybe being missed in the whole the SEC is overrated discussion. So again, get all your takes out there. The SEC is, fallen. The SEC is not the big dog in college football anymore. I'm sitting here telling you the Big Ten is probably still the best conference in college football. But to say the SEC is overrated or it's not, one of the best in college football still, I think it's a discussion of inches. I don't think it's feet when it comes to that whole idea of the best conference in college football. But I also think that when you talk about the most talented conference in college football, again, the NFL continues to tell us it's the SEC. So when we talk about the prediction that I have for the SEC, I think you'll have 4 teams from that conference in the college football playoff. Might be more, might be exactly 4. I don't know, but I'll say I think you have at least 4 teams from the SEC in the college football playoff here in 2025. Last thing I'll add, I do think the SEC in this punchline culture discussion welcomes a little bit of extra flack upon themselves because let's be real, the SEC is one of the most confident, I would say borderline arrogant conferences in college sports. And so when you tell everyone how good you are, when you chant SEC at different sporting events, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is, like, people are going to like to see you fail. And when you do fail, they will let you know about it. So the SEC is overrated. Some of that I think is based on maybe just a personal disposition towards the SEC. Some of that I think is warranted based on what the SEC wasn't last year. But in 2025, there's a large amount of depth, I think, in the world of the SEC relative to what the rest of the college football playoff could look like in terms of contenders. So I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to see it. But get your punchline culture out there for the SEC. I don't think it'll last all that long when it comes time for games to actually be played.